Okay, guys, we're live for the IBYE live stream event. We're going to meet some of the cool finalists today. And first on the hot seat, it's dreadful being first, isn't it?
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's absolutely awful. Is Blaine Doyle from #Team Kilkenny.
Team Kilkenny.
Up the cats. Simple as that. Now, your business, it's GlowDX?
GlowDX, yeah. So it's Glow Diagnostics. The X is short for diagnostics.
So a very interesting one, right? I was reading this spiel here, and I was reading away. A diagnostic company, and it goes on to diagnose neglected tropical diseases.
Yeah, so my co-founder is actually from Honduras.
Okay.
And that's where we came up with the idea. We just sat down over a cup of coffee one day and we decided, let's make a diagnostic product for some sort of tropical disease that's causing havoc in the world.
Okay.
And dengue fever affects up to 520 million people every year, and yet no one's doing anything about it.
Sure.
There's still no diagnostic products actually on the market that are effective for diagnosing the disease. So we said we could come up with something that would actually solve this problem.
Cool. So interesting concept. What I'm very interested in, because I have brilliant ideas all the time, and they stay in my head as brilliant ideas, and I never do anything about them. So how have you had the dedication, the commitment, and even the knowledge to be able to take this idea and actually start to turn it into a viable business? So I know it's development stage at the moment, but
so what we did was we literally just wrote a business plan off the top of our heads first. I mean, this early business plan was nothing like it looks now. It was very far-fetched, and there was all sorts of crazy things in it. But over time, this actually started to mature into what it is now. In terms of actually the science, we went through the IBYE program, which is an accelerator run by SOS Ventures. And that kind of granted us the capital, plus actually the facilities to actually develop the test.
Cool. So you got an element of funding, which I think very often as entrepreneurs out there, we're scared of actually going out there, putting ourselves on the chopping block and kind of pitching for funding and saying we have a great idea. What is it in your DNA? To help with these tropical diseases for a second, what is it in your DNA that actually made you go for this? That the entrepreneurial spirit, where does it come from?
Well, it was mad, really. Like, I mean, the idea was there, and we kind of put it on the back burner for a while, just maybe for a month. And then I woke up on the 22nd of April to a friend who had texted me. It was a Bloomberg article about how the dengue cases in Brazil had tripled in the last year. And I actually got out of bed that day and dropped out of my master's.
Wow.
To actually do that. So that's kind of, it was just about, like, there's a problem here, we have a solution, let's execute it. So execution is kind of the main part of it. Yeah.
That's pretty risky. It's like another Steve Jobs story, really. You know,
I wouldn't go that far, but
you're getting there. You know, simple as that. But no, that's a very, very courageous move. And you mentioned before, you know, you put the business plan down. You probably brain dumped it out, developed the concept, and it's developed into something probably quite different now.
Yeah.
What mistakes, what lessons have you learned since that day when you started?
I mean, so many.
Give me one lesson that you've learned along the way.
I mean, probably one of the biggest ones is actually when we first started doing the science. Yeah. We were doing a couple of steps to analyze the test itself and what we were doing to validate it. And there's a big problem in terms of contamination with these labs because you're producing a lot of DNA in our test.
Sure.
And we were popping the lids every single time and releasing this DNA into the environment. And slowly but surely, our test was picking up more and more false positives. And we were like, what's going on? And then I met a serial entrepreneur in kind of that diagnostic business. And we sat down and I just, could you give me a bit of advice? Is what's going on here? And he goes, you're not opening the lids, are you? And we were like, no, So I mean, like that's one of the biggest mistakes we made, but like that was cleared up within 2 weeks of getting that little bit of information. And I think that's one of the big things here in Ireland is you can almost go to any kind of serial entrepreneur or big entrepreneur and literally knock on their door, and they're quite happy to answer questions and kind of offer support.
There's an amazing piece of advice because we don't. Yeah. We think other people are too busy and we can't ask and we shouldn't ask, and we probably don't listen. Yeah. And you could probably still be lifting the lids and going oblivious to it if you didn't actually listen and actually ask for help. Yeah. So no, that's amazing.
I think that people in Ireland are quite open to cold calling. As kind of abrupt as it sounds, like I think people they remember themselves when they were in that position and wouldn't have been great to have advice back then. So
I think in a nutshell, I think people are nice.
Yeah.
You know, so if someone calls you and asks you for advice, you're probably going to give it to them.
Exactly.
So the chances are the multimillionaire who you talk to will do the same for you, particularly as an entrepreneur.
If you don't ask, you don't get, you know.
Don't ask, don't get. So don't be afraid to ask for things. Simple as that. The IBYE experience, you obviously saw the competition, you entered it, you've done exceptionally well. You're through to the finals in Google HQ, so fingers crossed for you. What's the experience been like?
It's been, like, at the moment we're fundraising. So in terms of actually the competition itself, it almost validates us for investors, which is one big help in terms of credibility. But also it actually helps develop your business plan, because every step of the way, for the county level and for regionals, you're always trying to improve your business model and actually get the idea to that next level.
Cool.
So I think it's allowed us to develop the business.
Cool. I like the idea about validating your business as well, like using this competition to knock on an investor's door and say, listen, look at this competition, look what I achieved here.
I mean, the first day of the accelerator, we had Sean O'Sullivan in with us, and the first bit of advice he was to give yourself is just de-risk your business. Always be de-risking your business. If you're not adding value to it, de-risk it.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So I suppose the last thing I was going to ask you is an advice to someone out there. So say someone's out there, they have a good business idea, they haven't had that eureka moment where they've hopped out of bed like you did on April the 22nd, wasn't it?
That was it, yeah.
There you go. They haven't had that yet. What advice would you give to an entrepreneur with a good, or a potential entrepreneur with a good idea?
I think that in life you should do something that you really, really love, because you're going to be doing it for a long time. And if you don't love it, you're not going to do it to its full potential. So I think you should just do it.
Sure. No,
if you fall in love with something, just do it.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite quotes: choose the job you love and you'll never have to work another day in your life.
Exactly, that's it.
So you're choosing your passion. So go after your passion is the brilliant advice there from Blaine. All I have to do now is pretty much say hashtag Team Kilkenny.
That's it, yeah. Keep
Best of luck for the finals, Blaine. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
And I'll be using your product in the near future
hopefully
to safeguard myself from deadly tropical diseases.
That's it.
Super. Great stuff. See you, mate. Good luck.